Hello everyone, my name is Farfa and this is a mistake. Today I am going to be talking about Farfa's reaction to Duel Links and playing Duel Links again for a day, which is something similar to what I did recently, where I came back and played some Chimera and showed you guys what I thought about Chimera and everything else about that. And to be honest, after I finished Chimera, I was working on Raw for a minute and I just was like, this isn't worth it. So I just kind of stopped playing Duel Links again for a while, which I'm going to be picking back up again in the next couple weeks. So let's talk about what Farfa said, what Monoblutron MBT said in his reaction to it, and what Mechlord said as well, and kind of cover my thoughts on it, because I'm sure that there are at least a couple people who'd be interested in that. So, Farfa had a few points that were key. And these are the points that I always hear every time that someone complains about Duel Links. Number one, the game is too expensive. Number two, the skills feel like they are overwhelming. And number three, Duel Links and Master Duel compete to Duel Links' detriment. That's not really something you can argue, to be honest. Yes, Duel Links does make Konami a decent amount of money. That's not debatable. Duel Links makes a decent amount of money. But there's not really that many players left. I mean, if we take a look at the Duel Links meta, which I've got pulled up right here, there are only 220 people who have submitted a deck in the last 2 weeks. Just 220 people in 14 days. This is ridiculous compared to what it used to be. You used to be able to pull up 500 decks really easily, and you'd see like 100 people at the first slot, 74 people at the second slot, probably 50 people at the third slot, and then all the way down, there'd be like way more decks than right now. Like, let's take a look at what we have here. Yeah, 2 people playing Tindangles, even though there was just a rerun event of the Tindangle Akira, and we got a new skill. We got only one person still playing Dinos, even though Dinos was released basically as close to full power as they're willing to give us. Only one person playing Gravekeepers, even though Gravekeepers just got a new skill. Exo Sisters has basically died off, even though it's an actual deck that would be, somewhat interesting to play. And then Dragon Maids, which is another deck that got released basically at full power, is only at 1. Even the new skills that they're trying to promote, Sky Striker only has 18 people after we got Linkage. Only 18? It's ridiculous. Speedroid's down here at 11. Gusto only has 6. Same as Wing Dragon of Ra. Wing Dragon of Ra got like a brand new character, new cards, like a new way to play, a really powerful skill. Only 6 people willing to submit a deck for it. Ridiculous. It's just there are so few people that are willing to play this game at this point. You take a look at Master Duel. Pull up Master Duel meta, same thing. Let's take a look. Top decks. How many lists we got in the last 2 weeks? 898. 898 decks. So that is over 4 times the number of players that are willing to engage with the community. They're willing to try and share information. And, I mean, like I said, 138 for Ryziel, 119 for Malice, 21 for Tenpai, 9 for Labyrinth. Like, you have to go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have to go down 10 rows before you start to get to the one-ofs, right? 10 rows. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's only 10 full rows even on this slide. So yeah, no, I mean, just there's just not too many people playing Duel Links these days. There's only a few people that can really, get a decent, like, I know that you guys don't care about content creators, but we care about ourselves. So there's only a few people who can really amass any sort of interest in Duel Links content. You got Playmaker, you got Loom, and that's it. I mean, Mechlord does decent sometimes when he plays, but for the most part, I mean, that's basically it in terms of like big content creators on YouTube. Now, Playmaker admittedly has 100,000 subscribers. Amazing for him. I'm so glad, or I assume them, probably more than one person, but amazing. So that's fantastic. But I mean, that's the only person that can really garner serious views with Duel Links. And I don't know. I'm sure that Farfa. I don't know why Farfa has like procked so much of a discussion when he's been saying things that other people have been saying for a long time. I guess it's because he's talking to a different community. Like, it's not the Duel Links players talking to each other. It's the Master Duel players thinking about Duel Links for the first time in a while. But I'll go ahead and I'll say that I think that Farfa has made some decent points, but that none of it is really the crux of the matter. A couple things that I want to talk about. So, first of all, what I have seen as I have left Duel Links and, kind of come back is I lost a lot of engagement, and that's primarily, I think, even though I was trying to do the same thing that I did previously, which was I tried to make interesting Yu-Gi-Oh content. I tried to find cool combos. I tried to play decks that were not all that common. I tried to find decks that had some sort of appeal, and I tried to make them look fun. I did everything the same as I did when I was making Duel Links videos, and my views just tanked, and that's perfectly fine. I know that a lot of people don't like to watch my new content, but what that has made me kind of decide, I don't know for certain, of course, but this is kind of my interpretation of this, is that Duel Links players are not necessarily Yu-Gi-Oh players, which is a weird thing to say, but I think that a lot of people who play Duel Links are who think either they came to Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time with Duel Links, or they just like they just view it as a game, like a game on their phone, as opposed to an actual way to experience playing cards. And I've seen that from a lot of people. Like, I'm in several Discord servers. I talk to people, and there are just people who legitimately, like, if the deck is not in Duel Links, they don't look at it, they don't read it, they don't know anything about it. And when like a deck that is like very widespread, a deck that's like got tons of playability, it's got tons of tops, is coming to Duel Links, like Despia or Sword Soul, then these people are like, what does this do? For the first time, Sword Soul has been such a huge part of Yu-Gi-Oh since it got released in 2021, and now I'm seeing people who are like, what does this deck even do? I'm just like, it boggles my mind, because when I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since it came out in America. When I was a little kid, back in, I think it was 2001, either 1999 or 2001, I can never remember which. But from the very start, when the show premiered, I watched the very first episode on TV when it premiered, and I bought the Kaiba structure deck like 2 days later. So I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since literally the beginning, and Duel Links was never about Duel Links. It was always about, I want to try and play Yu-Gi-Oh. And that's why the arguments to me that Farfa makes kind of fall flat. Like, yes, the game is more expensive than Master Duel. Yes, it is kind of annoying to constantly have to grind and try and get packs and dig through boxes and things like that. But none of that matters to me. What matters to me is I can't play the cards that I want. A 3-card board is very bad. I don't like having an 8-card extra deck. There's not enough interaction between the two players. You can't choose whether you go second or not, which is really, really, there's no point in that. Like, there are decks that are just not good when they go first. They don't have any interruption. They don't have any interaction. Like Black Wings, for example. Black Wings in Duel Links, they don't have their Blackwing Assault Dragon, and they don't have Sharnga, and they don't have their Counter Trap. The only interruption that Black Wings have in their actual archetype is Blackbird Close, which is a Counter Trap card that like sends a card from their field, sends a monster from their field to the graveyard to interrupt a monster effect. That's it. Whereas for and then they expect you to be able to play Black Wings, even though your best monster is Raikiri the Rain Shower, which is actually a really good card. If you make it going second, it can pop like 3 cards on your opponent's field. But if you make it going first, you can't do anything. That would... Tons more people would give Black Wings a try if they didn't have to survive going first when they didn't want to. And in the same way, there are all these skills that are being made now which have an effect when you go second to make up for the fact that going second is so bad for a lot of decks. And you have to play through so much. And part of the reason why you have to play through so much is because the skill when it goes first gives you so much. So now we're in this, like, it was bad before, but this year is really ramped up. And now we are in essentially an arms race between decks that get a skill that give them a 1-card combo and an endboard like interruption piece like Speedroid Duplicate or Fiendish Chain. And then the decks that they want to compete against that, getting the ability to just on turn 2 banish a card, bounce a card, remove a card from the field before you even start playing, so that you can kind of counter the board that the other skill built. Granted, that is what Duel Links is at this point, but it's not Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you have your starters, you have your extenders, you have your staples, you have your interruption. And you are allowed to play as many cards as you want and dig as deep in your deck as you want, as long as, you know, you don't run out of interruptions, you don't run out of options. And then once you've built your board, you pass, you have some ways to interact with your opponent, but otherwise your cards are down, hand down. Now your opponent gets to play. They have to try and break your board. So going first, you have to try and build a board. Going second, you have to try and break a board. And those two things fight constantly. Yes, going first is usually at an advantage, but you get to go first sometimes too. So it feels fair and interesting. And playing Duel Links, it's just like, I mean, now we're getting Dragon Master Magia from, like, I think that card was released in like 2022. Hold on, let me see. Sword Soul is bad enough. I mean, I'm excited to play Sword Soul, but Sword Soul is bad enough when we don't have other cards. But Dragon Master Magia, I think, came out like really recently. When did this card come out? Battle of Legends Terminal Revenge. We got this in English in 2024. 2024 is when we got this. As a quarter-century secret. This card was released as a QCR. That's crazy. Okay. Alright, so fine. That's fine, I guess, if they want to push Blue Eyes, but what about, you know, we still don't have the counter trap card for Magical Muskets. Can we not get that yet? Salamangreat Great Roar is still limited to 1, so you can't play it with Gazelle. Why do we still only have 1 Gazelle? Why can't we have 3 Gazelles? Why, like, what are the decks that we have that don't see play? Like, could you not give support to those decks? Like, I mean, I appreciate that Assault Mode got some support that actually made them see play for a minute. That was kind of cool. I feel like that was maybe not the best way to do it, but, you know, I can understand it. Crystal Beast got some time in the spotlight. Sharks saw some play. Cool. What about, I know they're giving us Dino Wrestlers now. That's not going to do anything. What about Odd Eyes? Are we going to get a new Odd Eyes card at some point? What about Triple D? I know that we got like a skill that lets Triple D play Siegfried. Cool. But what about Genghis? Can we Genghis. Can we finally get Genghis? Like, you've given us like 3 skills that are supposed to mimic Genghis's effect. Can you just give us the cards so that we can play the game without needing to cripple ourselves with the skill? Genghis locks you anyway, so might as well, right? It just, it's, I find Duel Links unbelievably restrictive. The more that it goes on, the longer that it goes on, I just stare at a board with 3 zones. I stare at my Link monsters that have no arrows. And I stare at my extra deck that is missing 6 cards, and I just think, there is no reason why my opponent should have a 1-card combo and I start with 4 cards in my hand. There's no reason. There's literally no reason. The speed format offers nothing. So, yes, Farfa is correct that cards are expensive. It's difficult to get the cards that you want. Some cards are locked behind events or levels, which for really stupid reasons. And that's part of the reason why I got driven off of Duel Links in the first place, because I had to double evolution pill as a at level 45 Tyranno. And that delayed my video for weeks, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. Why do I have to put up with this? Why should I not be able to get cards that I want as soon as I want them? And it's just, the answer is just that there's no reason. I mean, if I play Master Duel, I can craft whatever card that I want right away. I can build a brand new deck in Master Duel in a couple of hours. Like I wanted to play XYZ Tachyon last night, and I was worried that deck was going to be difficult to build because XYZ does not have a box yet in Master Duel. It came out too recently. I think they're probably going to be due to get a box soon because Blue Eyes has been in the game for a while, but right now they're still not available. So I had to craft literally every XYZ card. But it was fine. I went to the ABC box, I bought a bunch of packs, and I got the deck done overnight, like within probably 3 hours. And then this morning I recorded the whole video, and I didn't have to spend any time, preparing for that. I decided that I wanted to do it randomly at like 6 p.m. last night. Less than 12 hours later, video's up. And that's just I could be playing that deck right now. I could literally be like in Platinum already, playing this fully made Galaxy Tachyon deck that I came up with last night. Just because. Like, yeah, it's a brand new account, but still, I have the option. So, it just feels like Duel Links doesn't offer enough at this point. I mean, yes, there are cool voice lines. Yes, there are interesting like PvE events. But as time goes on, that's becoming less and less frequent. There are fewer and fewer characters being released. Now we're getting reskins, and there are fewer and fewer events being offered. And the voice lines are going to become less and less frequent because the cards that, there are fewer and fewer cards to release. So people were complaining that Yugi doesn't have any lines for all the new Chimera cards. Well, get used to that. Sword Soul is going to come out. You think anyone's going to have any lines with those? No. Branded came out. No lines for any of that. So once we are out of the anime zone where there's no more anime, and there's no world coming out in September, so there's no new world for the first time. So, I mean, the main things that separated Duel Links from Master Duel are just getting less and less relevant. And all of the problems with Duel Links compared to Master Duel are getting more and more relevant as you release more and more powerful decks. And that's the reason why the game is bad. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.